Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And this movie came out in 2018, and it's written by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And I really enjoyed this movie. This film's been on my watch list for many years, and I finally got a chance to see it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Not as good as I thought I would have enjoyed it, but I think it's a solid movie overall. And I really love the animation style. It really popularized this type of animation where it kind of feels like a comic book, and it really enhances the action sequences and the comedy. And just it gives the film personality overall. And I really liked the characters in this movie a lot. They introduce a lot of characters. And one criticism that I do have with this movie is that I think there's too many characters in this film. And although they don't really eat up too much screen time, I just feel as though some of them could have been developed a bit better. Because this movie really did feel like too much in one film. And this movie's 2 hours long. Not that it needed to be longer, exactly. I just feel as though you had too much in just one 2 hour long film, I feel. Going back to my positives, I was never bored throughout the 2 hour runtime, and the comedy worked for me for the most part. I was laughing quite a bit, actually. I did not expect the humor to work for me as well as it did. The action scenes in this movie were pretty fun, in my opinion. I will remember this movie for some of these action sequences. And this movie, even though I do feel as though there's too many characters, it doesn't do a poor job introducing all of the hero characters. Like, that element of the film, I feel as though it establishes the heroes pretty well, especially with it being just Spider-Man characters, but kind of obscure Spider-Man characters. I didn't feel as though they were, like, poorly established. I just wish that some characters in this movie had more screen time to develop them out. And I did like where the story went in this movie. I was engaged with it. I wasn't, like, blown away or impressed by it. It's not, like, the most mind-blowing experience I could have in terms of a story. Like, it's serviceable, it works for what it is, and I'm happy with it. But going into some of my negatives with this movie, I didn't really care for the music in this movie. And that might have to do with the fact that I've heard a lot of these songs just spammed over the years, like in YouTube shorts or whatever, and just on the radio. Like, I would hear it all the time, and especially since I would have the radio on a lot because I used to work at the post office. I was a mail carrier, and I would just have the radio on just to help pass the time. And I think that was kind of a bad idea for me, because I would just hear a lot of the same stuff over and over again. And there were a couple reveals in this movie that I didn't really care for, either because they were just predictable or the way it was executed, it just didn't really work for me. And like I said, the movie was pretty funny to me, but not all of the jokes landed for me. And there were a couple moments where I was like kind of cringing, and the romance elements didn't really work for me all that well. I was like, why did that need to be there? I don't know. And as a side note, this doesn't really affect my overall feelings on the movie, but I do feel as though it's kind of interesting to talk about. This movie did win the Oscar for Best Animated Feature Film. Personally, out of the ones that I've seen Incredibles 2 and Isle of Dogs in that category. And I think my pick would have been Isle of Dogs, just for the record. I haven't seen Incredibles 2 in a long time. Ralph Breaks the Internet I haven't seen, and Mirai I haven't seen either. So far, Spider-Verse would have been my second pick, maybe. I'll have to rewatch Incredibles 2. And I also find it kind of funny that this movie came out the same year as Venom. And Sony owns Spider-Man, and I believe Sony's still trying to make a Sinister Six movie or whatever. And the only good stuff they're pumping out is Spider-Verse stuff, so I found that to be kind of funny. Like when the movie was over, not while I was watching. I was like enjoying it as it was going along. Like that was my experience while watching the movie, but thinking back, I just realized Yeah, they have this Sinister Six stuff going on that's probably not going to work very well. So we'll see what happens with that Sinister Six stuff. I'm sure the Venom movies will keep them going for a while, but anyways, going back to Spider-Verse, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I would definitely check it out again, and I'm excited to see the sequel. But more on that later. But Into the Spider-Verse, I would recommend, but I'm pretty sure you've all seen it. But for those who haven't, it's good. It's worth checking out. And I don't really have much else to say about it. Just keep in mind one good comparison for this movie, and this isn't something you would say at the time this movie was released, but the animation style, it's very reminiscent to Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And I know this movie came first, but just to give you somewhat of a frame of reference if you haven't seen this movie yet and you've seen Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. But anyways, kind of rambling on a little bit. Check this movie out whenever you get the chance, and with all that being said, I'm going to give Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley-nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.